Alright, y'all, we back again with another video, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm in my basement today because I figured, you know what I'm saying, I just wanted to get out the car and, be in a more spacious environment so that I can have a little bit more freedom to speak on the things I really want to talk about. So yeah, we're in the basement, and the title of today's video is Be Careful Who You Call Your Friends. Like, seriously. Be careful who you call your friends, because one thing I realized over this past year and a half is that a lot of people are very good at acting. Very good at acting. And another thing I also realized is a lot of people are very good at positioning themselves to make it seem like they mess with you, but deep down they really don't, or they may want something from you as well. So you have to really be careful of who you call your friends, because it'll be those very people that do you bad. Like that's one thing also about betrayal. Betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. It comes from the people closest to you. And the reason why it hurts more when you find out it's the people closest to you is because these are people that you genuinely thought you could trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are people that you genuinely thought would never hurt you, never do you wrong, like would never put you in certain positions to where you'd have to look at them kind of weird, you know? But that's also why I'm saying be careful of who you call your friends, and be careful of who you let close to you, because, people study you. People study you a lot. And, even me, when I was kind of going through what I went through, and I cut off most of my so-called friends, I didn't even realize that most of them were studying me. Like, they were studying me to like figure out, what would piss me off, what would bother me, like, and, they had positioned themselves in a way to where they could benefit off of me without me thinking twice about it. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Is I feel like a lot of us definitely have those friends, and it kind of sucks when you have to figure that out. I ain't gonna lie. Cause it's like, dang, like I trusted you. You was my bro, you was my sis, and now you're gonna like do me like that, So, and betrayal hurts, and it hurts because, like, I'd say 95% of the time you don't see it coming, until a situation transpires, and now it's just like, dang, like that's really who you really are, and sometimes you could do everything right and somebody will still betray you. So I don't want you to, like, anybody watching this video, I don't want you guys to feel like you got to put this immense pressure on yourselves to like be like a detective and figure out. No, I'm not saying that. But at the same time, one thing that I think kind of helps is you want to know what you want, like, out of your friends. It's like, and when I say that, I mean, like, what do you want? How do you want your friends to show up for you? And what do you want your friendships with people to look like? I think that's something that we all have to figure out on this journey of life, because I feel like personally, if we can figure that out, it would help with a lot of things. So I feel like then if we see any red flags or see anything that we don't like, it'll become a lot easier for us to remove these people out of the equation without them causing too much harm, because you already know, like, hey, I'm seeing this and I don't like it, so I'm gonna do something about it, And the thing is with being careful with who you call your friends, a lot of people will, in your face, they'll be like, yeah, you my guy, or yeah, you're my girl, like this, that, and the third. But then behind your back, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. Like, these people will be talking mad smack about you. They'll be running your name in the mud, running smear campaigns, secretly hating you on the low. Or maybe some people just hate you when they see you, whichever one it is, it's still detrimental. So, we just really got to be careful of who our friends are, because, these are the same people that we put our trust in. These are the same people that, we believe can do us no harm. But the reality is, the worst betrayal typically tends to come from the people closest to you, because they know you. They know your emotional reactions. They know what gets you mad. They know what gets you happy for the most part. So they know what'll hurt you. You know, and I do think that there's a lot of people out here in this world that just move with no sense of morality. You know, I'm not saying everyone here is perfect. Obviously, most of us, none of us are perfect, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I do think there's some people that just do not have a sense of morality, like whatsoever. And, you know, that definitely does hurt to know, especially when it comes from the people you trusted the most, because it's like, dang. And then another thing also is like, especially if you're somebody who does have a sense of morality, you assume that everybody around you also has a sense of morality. But I'm gonna just be honest, the brutal reality is that's just not true. Like you could be the most you could have the most like integrity, morals out of everybody in your friend group. And there's just some people in your friend group who just move like absolute rats and move like absolute snakes. And, you know, there's nothing you can really do about that, because at the end of the day, that's who they've chosen to be. And that's who they'll always be, you know. Even when they stop talking to you, even when they're no longer friends with you, they'll probably be friends with somebody else, and they're gonna do them the exact same way, you know, because karma has a way of hitting. I'm telling you, karma has a way of like coming back. It really does. So, you know, just be mindful of who you call your friends. Like, especially when you meet somebody, don't be so quick to be like, yeah, that's my bro. Like, give it some time, spend more time with this person, hang out with them more. Because you got to see what they're like. And this is my personal opinion. You got to see what they're like when they're around you. And you got to get an idea of what they're like when they're not around you. Because I'm telling you, people will change up how they act. Like, some people will change up how they act around you versus when they're not around you. But I do also believe that there's some good people out there who do have a sense of morality and who will always like defend you no matter what, you know. So it's just about, you know, trying to encounter the best people you possibly can, you know. And like I said, none of us here are perfect, but as long as you're trying, making an effort, that's all that matters. And you eventually will find your tribe. You eventually will find your people. So yeah, man, just wanted to come drop this quick little video, just kind of give my thoughts on the situation. And yeah, it's your boy, and I'm out.